you're watching TechCrunch TV. My name is Colleen Taylor. His name is Ben Ha of Cheezburger fame, and we're in Austin, Texas at the South by Southwest Interactive Conference. How's it going, Ben?
It's going great, and maybe you can hear a little bit of my voice going away, but I've been trying to not scream at parties too much today.
Yes, because today you had a big talk about the importance of making fun of yourself. And it sounds like you're saying this not just as an individual, as a founder, also as a company. Explain to me what this means.
Yeah, so you can think of it as not taking yourself too seriously, and also, especially when it comes to marketing and advertising campaigns, where they tend to ignore humor. And I'm trying to help them understand that whether they like it or not, humor is going to be a part of the conversation. And everybody seems to understand conversations, yet they tend to think of it as like not a balanced breakfast. You need a little bit of everything. Even if you don't have humor be a core part of your campaign, you will have to address it at some point.
Now, can you maybe drop some names here, give some examples? What's a recent example besides Cheezburger of a company or brand or person that is really good at humor?
So instead of saying who's really good at humor, what I want to really recognize is that the previous method of working on campaigns, where you spend an enormous amount of money and at the end of it you kind of stop, doesn't really work well on the web, because everybody continues to have the conversation. Your product's still out there. Maybe you're not having as much investment into raising awareness of it, but the fact of the matter is it's a small additional investment to continue to keep that community going so you can actually build upon it. It is not a campaign that ends. It's a community you continue to build over a long period of time. Right? So when people advertise on TechCrunch, they're trying to build conversation and communities, yet they stop. And I'm like, why are you abandoning your community? You really should keep engaging with them.
And you had a very interesting definition I've seen on Twitter after the talk. A lot of people grasped onto this of what humor is.
So to me, humor is telling the truth without actually using the truth, right? And it really actually comes from evolutionary biology. Humor, at least I believe from the theories that's been presented, is about a false positive. So you're a caveman, you're a hunter, you go into the woods, you see a lion, oh my God, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna be eaten. Turns out it's just a piece of wood that looks like a lion. You laugh to release endorphins, to lower your stress level. So it's about false positives. And we as a culture has evolved that to be about making each other laugh. But it's like, I guess it's like recreational sex. It used to be you had sex to have kids. Now you can have recreational sex. We're having recreational humor, but that's the vast majority of humor that exists today.
But I think a lot of people would say, I'm not funny. How can, I'm not a funny guy. Ben, you can say this because you're just a funny guy. How can everybody be funny? Can every company be funny?
Well, first of all, you should see me in high school. I was really awkward. Even more awkward than this interview right now. Even more. Yeah. So it's not about you, the person. It is about your persona. And if you want to be funny on the internet, you have to develop a persona. And every time people go on Twitter or go on Facebook, they're putting themselves on a stage. And I'm not saying that as encouraging them. That's what they're doing to themselves. This is why we don't check into McDonald's. We check into like In-N-Out, because In-N-Out is slightly cooler than McDonald's, right? Even though everybody goes to McDonald's. We're putting ourselves on a stage to develop a persona. And then you want to curate. And if you can curate, then you can learn how to create. And if you can do that, ask for feedback. Ask for the data that helps you understand how to refine your persona and the curation and the creation.
And I also have to ask, because you have taken making fun of yourself and your company on a national stage. You guys had a television show, LOL Work, on Bravo.
What? We're making fun of ourselves in that show?
No, that was completely serious.
It's awkward now. Okay, all right.
You guys made huge asses of yourselves on reality TV. No, I'm just... No, so tell me about that experience. You guys just kind of showed that you had a sense of humor in your wacky culture on this national level. What was that like? Is that something you would recommend to other founders? How did that go?
It's funny. It's because half the company were like groaning. They're like, that's not really us. And I'm like, that's okay. We're showing a side of us. We're showing a small fraction. And if America understands a little bit more, that's a good thing. It was an opportunity that I couldn't really pass up. I wanted to try. And like anything in business, if it works, you keep going, and if it doesn't, you stop. And for us, it was amazing to have cameras in the office and to understand how the old Hollywood works and what they're struggling with. From a business perspective, it was remarkable to deal with people who, there were 15 camera crew and staff members, and 8 people were part of the show. It was like 2 to 1. Like if I thought about it, like if I thought, maybe I want some coffee, like there was a dude running on the street getting coffee. I could get used to that. But anyway, So the engineers are like, oh my God, this is terrible, and we have to kind of balance it's okay if we are a little bit more self-deprecating. Don't take ourselves so seriously.
And last question here, what's next for Cheezburger?
So we're continuing to build out our social humor platform. The idea is that we want everybody to express themselves. We want people to have a safe place where they can build an audience and a community who appreciates their sense of humor. And we want to help brands as well as individual users create and craft a stream and a community that appreciates them for who they are and that makes each other laugh.
So we can find that at cheezburger.com, or we'll hear about the launch coming here soon?
Well, so we like to do non-launches. We like to kind of build and iterate, and you can always go to cheezburger.com and find it and make your own site.
Actually, last question. Have you seen Grumpy Cat?
I've seen the line for Grumpy Cat, and that made me grumpy.
I agree. I'm with you. Okay, Ben-Ha, thank you so much. Have fun here in Texas.
Thank you, Colleen. Thanks, everybody.